Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I will explain how to create a looping cloth simulation in Maya. We will export the simulation from Maya and import it into Marmoset Toolbag. This method can be used to make looping animations for your portfolio. Let's get started. Step 1. Prepare Maya's scene. We will start by creating a simple sphere. Remember to give it enough subdivisions so the simulated plane has a smooth shape. In this case, I used 36 subdivisions. Then, create a plane. Position the plane over the sphere. I will add 60 subdivisions on each axis to have enough polygons for a realistic cloth behavior. Select the plane and create a nCloth object. Then select the sphere and make it a passive collider. I need to adjust the friction of the collider so the plane doesn't slide from the sphere when I run the simulation. Then, I will set my timeline length and run the simulation. Step 2. Run the simulation. Once you have a shape that you like, we need to set the current frame as the initial state for the actual simulation that we will use. To create an initial state, in the outliner, select the nCloth and shift-select the plane. Go to the Field Solvers menu, Initial State, and click on Set from Mesh. Now, we can tweak the simulation. I will adjust the dynamic properties and add some wind so the movement of the cloth is more noticeable. Step 3. Create nCache. Once the simulation is ready, we need to save the cache file. This will allow us to duplicate it and blend both cache instances. To be safe, I created a simulation that is 720 frames long, which is longer than what we need. These extra frames will be helpful when cropping and blending the cache file. To create a cache, go to the nCache menu. Create New Cache. And click on N Object. For the cache format, I selected MCX. For the file distribution, select one file. Then, click Create and wait for the cache to be saved. Step 4. Trax Editor. It's time to make the simulation loop. For this, we need to open the Trax Editor located in the Animation Editor's menu. Select the plane. And you will notice that there is a clip already loaded in the Trax Editor. This clip corresponds to the saved cache file we created earlier. Let's load a second instance of this cache file. Go to the File menu and click on Import Cache. Select the saved XML file and a second track will be added. With these two tracks now we can create the loop. The Trax Editor UI is not very intuitive, so I will explain what we will do with the help of some graphics. We need the first and last frames to be the same to create the loop. We will select a frame in the middle of the simulation as our start and end frames. In this case, I selected frame 200. Because our final animation will be 240 frames long, let's add this rectangle, which represents a 240 frame timeline. We will use the cache number 1 to start the simulation. So, we need to move the clip to the left to align the frame 200 with the first frame of the timeline. Then, cache number 2 will be offset to the right until frame 200 is aligned with the last frame of the timeline. The only thing missing is to trim and blend between both clips to create a smooth transition. Now, let's see how it's done in Maya. Offset each clip to align the frame 200 with the start and end frames. Trim the clips to overlap a few frames in the middle of the timeline. Then, select the Cache Blend tab and animate the clips blend. In my specific case, in frame 67, I created a keyframe for cache 1 with a value of 1. And a keyframe for cache 2 with a value of 0. Then move to frame 118, edit the values and create another keyframe. For cache 1 now the value of 0. And for cache 2 the value of 1. Now, you can see that the 240 frame clip loops. Step 5. Export Alembic. We are ready to export the simulation. Ensure your time slider is set to the correct length and select the simulated mesh. Go to the Cache menu, then Alembic Cache, and click on Export Selection to Alembic. On the Export window, select Time Slider and scroll down to make sure the right UVs option is enabled. This, of course, is required to apply the textures correctly later in Marmoset. Step 6. Marmoset Toolbag. Because this is not a Marmoset Toolbag specific tutorial, I will show roughly my process to render the simulation. First, import the Alembic file into Marmoset. Create a material from the fabric preset and apply the textures. These textures are included in our knit material created in Substance Designer. You can get the Textures and Substance Designer editable file from the link in the description. Then, adjust the tiling, base color, lighting, and other parameters. Before rendering, go to the Animate tab and make sure your timeline is correct. In this case, it should be 240 frames long, 24 frames per second, and a length of 10 seconds. Now, render your image sequence. This is the final result. If you want more content like this, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have topics or tutorial suggestions for new videos, let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching.